For the month of March, I am so excited to be focusing on the path from inquiry to income. So for all of February, we went deep into the world of social media. How can we use social media platforms to help get our work out into the world, to help get new eyes on our pages, and to help grow our audience? Ultimately, what happens, the more that you get your work out there, the more reach your content has, the more inquiries you get. And so it only makes sense that we transition from that series into a series on the process of taking those inquiries and escorting them into becoming booked clients who help you grow your income. So for this month of March, we are going to walk through that process, starting with your inquiry form and working all the way down to how to show your value and get those clients to book with you. So let's go ahead and start today with our first lesson, which is all about the inquiry form. In today's lesson, I am going to teach you 3 super quick and easy updates that you can make to your inquiry form and to your contact page on your website to help you increase your inquiries and avoid missing out on possible clients because your inquiry form has really simple mistakes. So first, before we dive into the actionable steps, we need to just drive home this point that your inquiry form is the very first barrier to entry to getting somebody who's interested in your work to take that step toward pursuing learning more about your process and actually working with you. That decision to go from just an observer to engaging in someone's process for their offer is a big one, okay? It's probably the biggest step that we're trying to get them to take, is to go from just scrolling on Instagram, looking at your content, maybe even looking at your website, to actually reaching out, expressing interest, and starting a conversation with you. It is a personal step, and it makes them kind of vulnerable to a conversation and to learning more about what it would be like to work with you. Once they reach out to you and submit that inquiry form, many people realize that they are now asking for your time, okay? They are now engaging in your process and you are giving them something for free. And so a lot of people won't even take that step until they feel pretty confident that they might move forward and work with you. And we want that, right? We want that to be true. And we'll talk about that later in this series when we look at what it looks like to actually vet your inquiries and make sure that you're not wasting time on new leads who may not have the budget to work with you. But in this lesson, we're going to really zero in on the inquiry form and on your contact page and talk about ways that you can tweak it in very slight ways to significantly improve your conversion. So the very first one is just looking at the actual content that you are collecting from people on your contact form. So let's go ahead and look at my contact page on my website, and I will give you some tips and tricks for tweaking your form to make it really effective. The first thing I want you to look at, and the very most important thing, is that your contact form is simple. Okay, it is so important that you are not asking clients to know and to tell you every single specific detail about their wedding before they can even connect with you. If you are asking them, how many invitations do you need? Do you want wax seals? What color envelopes are you interested in? What type of paper thickness do you want? Do you want letterpress? Do you want digital print? If you're asking them all of those questions on your contact form, you are scaring them away, and here's why. The first reason is because a lot of those things they might not even know yet, right? So like they might not know how many guests they're having yet. They might not even know what letterpress is. And so when you're asking them those questions at this stage, you're making them feel either overwhelmed and like, I don't even know if this is for me. Maybe this is going to be more work than I thought. Or you're making them just think, oh, I need to wait. I'm not ready for this right now. Okay. And then that is why you end up getting all of these last minute inquiries where people are needing their invitations within a month because your inquiry form was so overwhelming that they felt like they needed to wait until they knew all of that information before they were ready to move forward. So it's really important that you simplify your contact form and that you don't have too much information on it. I make most of these things not required. I make them optional. So the only things that are required are basically first and last name and email. Like I just need to know your name, your email, that you're interested in working with me, and then I'll follow up to get the rest of the details that I need. However, this is my form and most people fill out all parts of it. So I ask for their email and phone number because a lot of times we schedule a call for the very first connection point. And so collecting their phone number now helps me to make sure that I have that number when it's time for their call and I don't have to go searching for it. The next thing is their wedding date. And so as stationers, we can work with many couples on the same date. And so it's not always super necessary to know that up front. However, if you book a certain number of clients per month, it is good to know their wedding date so that you can plan and you can make sure you're not overbooking your schedule. The next thing I ask for is wedding location and venue. And that's mainly just because I like to tie in their wedding location in their design board. So asking for it now helps me to kind of know where they're getting married, if it's a venue I've done before, things like that. I always ask how they heard about me, and that is just really helpful in my marketing strategy. So if I find that most people hear from me from Instagram or from Pinterest or from a wedding planner, it helps me to know where my marketing efforts are working and where they may not be working. And it points me in a direction of what I can pour more into to try to help me get more inquiries. The next thing is just a general message. So I kind of open this up for them to share whatever information they want about their wedding, but I am not asking them specific details yet. The next tip that I have for you, tip number 2, is to have your inquiry form at the bottom of every page on your website. Okay, so let's go through and I can just kind of show you on my website. We have my home page and then my contact form. Okay, and then I have my invitations page so they can learn about my invitation packages. And yes, at the very bottom of this page, they're going to get my contact form. Okay, then I have a page that's all about the investment and how much it costs to work with me. And yes, at the bottom of this page, I'm going to have a contact form. Okay, the reason why is because it's so important that we're funneling people to inquire with us. We don't want them to have to go searching for the contact form. We don't want them to have to go digging to find your email address. You want it to be as easy as possible. And so lower that barrier to entry. Make it a short, simple contact form and make it easy to find on your website. And then the very last suggestion that I have, tip number 3 for increasing your inquiries by making your inquiry process simpler, is to always put your email address somewhere on your contact form as well. So under my photo here, I have complete the form or reach me directly at, and then I have my email. And so I do this because, first of all, some people might just have a simple question and they may feel like if they submit your contact form, that submits an inquiry that they don't feel ready for. So giving them your email to directly reach out to you is always a good idea. The other reason is because you may have wedding planners, you may have other vendors who want to reach out to you about a collaboration or a client referral, and your questions on your contact form are asking about their wedding or what is the vision for their invitations. And it just doesn't feel like the right fit for a planner to reach out to you that way. And so having your email on your contact form will help those other vendors and contacts to be able to reach out to you and connect with you and potentially bring opportunities to you without scaring them away by forcing them to fill out your contact form. Okay, so this lesson was pretty short and sweet, and that is a good thing because it means that it's easy. It is so simple to go make those 3 changes on your website, on your contact form right now. Go ahead and simplify it down to 6 or fewer questions. Go ahead and make sure that your contact form is at the bottom of every page on your website, and make sure that you have your email address listed somewhere on your contact form so people can connect with you directly. When you make those 3 changes, I think you're going to see an increase in your conversion rate, and come back next week to learn how I move forward to the next step of this process by scheduling consultation calls and learning more about my clients' needs and vision. Have you been dreaming of starting or growing a stationery business? One that grants you the freedom to work for yourself, spend your days pursuing your creative passions, and building a lucrative business that helps you reach your personal goals? My stationery design course, Dream to Design, is your perfect next step. After you enroll in Dream to Design, you will not only receive access to over 20 lessons that break down every single step of my design process, but you'll be invited to join my private course community to start this journey alongside many other like-minded creatives and entrepreneurs. Take this step, join us inside Dream to Design, and see the incredible things that are about to happen for your business.